Hi everyone, my name is Shamim. I'm from the United Republic of Tanzania. I'm a social scientist. Something that I do not see so many people talk about a lot is the ocean climate itself. For instance, we are having impacts on ocean sea levels, rising of water sea levels. We are having something to do with displacement. Communities are being displaced because of the rising of water sea levels, and that is something that we are not talking about, especially looking at the indigenous or coastal communities in my country, and also looking at the ocean alkalinity itself. The ocean is being polluted because that is their source of livelihood, their source of food, and because nobody's addressing that, nobody's talking about it, it remains unanswered, it remains unattended to. Floodings are also happening, and of course landslides are happening, not only in my country, Tanzania, but in most of the African countries. Just like any other topics that we are talking about in terms of gender, in terms of youth, in terms of the climate crisis itself, I think ocean climate should be given a priority. The ocean is one of the greatest carbon sinks, and if we are not talking about the impacts of climate change to the biggest carbon sinks that we have at the moment, then we are failing. It's very important for us to talk about this because we have coastal communities that we are leaving behind. I'm happy, I'm excited because for the first time at COP27 we had the Ocean Pavilion. But then what is the role of the Ocean Pavilion? What are the key topics that this Ocean Pavilion is really carrying or is really talking about? Are they addressing ocean climate? And if yes, do we have technological advancements that are going to help us deal with the ocean climate at hand? But do we also have this in the agendas, in the plenary agendas? Are people talking about this? Is everybody open to the conversations and not letting it be like this is for small island developing states or this is for coastal cities to talk about, but this is a general conversation. As we can see last year, the terrestrial forest didn't absorb as much in terms of carbon, but the ocean was there and it absorbed as much as it can, but now it cannot take it anymore because of the climate crisis. It needs to be integrated within the topics, it needs to be integrated within the subjects, it needs to be integrated on side events, conversations, plenary discussions. It needs to be talked about. We have a project called the Tanzania Ocean Climate Innovation Hub, which is a GOS project under Ocean Visions endorsed by the UN Ocean Decade, and this project is aimed at advancing ocean climate innovation solutions, not only in Tanzania, but in different parts of African countries. By working with communities in terms of ocean farming, that is blue carbon, we are addressing blue carbon by working in ocean farming such as seaweed, sea cucumber farming, mangrove beekeeping. Those are the projects that we are working on with communities, but we are also encouraging experts and scientists to look at how can we advance technologies such as MCDR, that is marine carbon dioxide removal, because it's beyond just sequestration. It's about the technology, it's about the business part of it, like how do communities also benefit from this. And so through the hub, we are providing such solutions. We are also working together with the University of Dar es Salaam as one of our partners to implement some of these projects in terms of science. You need to do research, you need to understand the ocean, you need to connect with the ocean. And so we are also promoting ocean literacy with communities, educating them and connecting them together with the ocean, because that way we believe we can be able to have concrete solutions in our communities. And that has been going on for the past 2 years and it has been working. If it can work for Tanzania, then it can work for any other country around the globe, which is also being affected by the rising of water sea levels. Another thing that we are doing is that we are working with the different governments, and this is something that is also on our pipeline, to see how we can work on developing a sustainable coastal cities framework. And here we are looking at urban planning, but in the context of coastal cities, making sure that governments are in line whenever somebody is building a house or constructing a house next to the beach or wherever they want to do it, but as long as it's near the coastal city, it has to be sustainable, just like any other urban city, especially for coastal cities that are really coming up. We are talking about small island developing states. If they are developing, how is this development? Is this sustainable? And of course, we invite any kind of government that is really interested in developing this framework for their own country or their own continent, much welcome, and we can provide the basics and parameters of how do you develop a resilient, sustainable coastal city. the first thing that we should be looking at right now, especially in terms of ocean climate, is ocean literacy. Because if we are not advocating or discussing about ocean literacy, then even if we introduce technologies, they will not going to appreciate the technologies because they do not see that bonding between them and the ocean. But secondly is for us to look at these technologies. How do you talk about this marine carbon dioxide removal? How do we introduce it to communities, and how do they also take part of it? We also need to capacitate our communities, build capacity for them to understand so that we can all be on the same level, talking about equal partnerships and equal working and coexisting between the ocean experts, scientists, innovators, researchers. I believe together we can get key solutions.